Hello, K-drama fans. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to talk about the final episode of Dynamite Kiss. The drama comes to an end, leaving us with that mix of emptiness, longing, and reflection that only truly intense stories can awaken in us. After so many encounters, misunderstandings, pain, and promises, the time has come to say goodbye to characters we slowly learn to love. Over the course of 14 episodes, they became part of our routine and our hearts. Together, all of us, fans of this true masterpiece, watched the final episode of Dynamite Kiss full of hope, believing that we would finally get the long-awaited happy ending for the couple that captured the audience from the very first episode. However, the writers chose to surprise us. They delivered a carefully crafted ending design to test the sensitivity and humanity of every viewer who tuned in to follow this story, and who, without realizing it, finished with tears in their eyes. After making us believe that this love would be destroyed by a cruel accident, capable of erasing from memory the most beautiful and happy moments of a couple that seemed destined to be together in this life and beyond, we are abruptly transported from fiction to real life. A place where nothing is simple, nothing is guaranteed, and where love often has to fight to survive. Even amid a tense and painful atmosphere, still filled with hope, we continue to believe that in the end, everything could turn out right. It is in this setting that we are introduced to the final episode of Dynamite Kiss, where revelations begin to emerge and long-hidden family secrets finally come to light. A family that built its history on an obsessive pursuit of power and money, forgetting that the true foundation of any success lies not in ambition, but in genuine love. This is how we are shown the consequences of it all. A daughter consumed by long-standing resentment, cultivated since childhood, who attempts to destroy her own brother and father for never having received the recognition and affection she so desperately wanted, always living in the president's shadow. This resentment culminates in a terrible, cold, and calculated plan, one that only fails because Ji-hyuk arrives at the exact moment to expose not only his sister, but also her accomplice, Ki-yong, perhaps one of the most despicable characters in the entire drama. A man who spent his whole life occupying positions and flaunting status inherited solely through his father's influence, and who still dared to compare himself to Ji-hyuk, someone who, despite being born into privilege, chose to walk away from it all to build his own path, his own company, and earn respect through merit, not inheritance. And what about the president? A father incapable of love, who, even with his son on the brink of death, could only think about share percentages and absolute control over the company. His coldness and greed are exposed in a cruel yet necessary way. The major turning point comes when all of his schemes are revealed, allowing Ji-hyuk's mother to return to the company and reclaim the position that was always rightfully hers. It is an extremely satisfying moment for the audience, symbolizing the end of a cycle of abuse, lies, and injustice. However, even when everything finally seems to fall perfectly into place, Dynamite Kiss reminds us that life doesn't resolve itself so easily, and that some wounds, especially those of the heart, do not heal at the same pace as battles won. And just when we were preparing to celebrate this victory alongside our protagonists, we are once again shocked by one of the most striking scenes of the entire drama. Happy, confident, and full of love to give, Ji-hyuk calls Darim to share the good news and make it clear that this time he would come for her personally and propose. But when everything pointed toward the dream finally coming true, we are hit by a cruel twist. Tae-young, unable to accept yet another defeat and consumed by hatred, ends up running over Ji-hyuk almost instinctively. He lies unconscious on the ground while Darim, on the other end of the call, desperately calls out his name. A scene so powerful that it even moves Ji-hyuk. For the first time, seems to show genuine fraternal feelings for her brother and finally finds the courage to report her accomplice. Meanwhile, our protagonist, still desperate and overwhelmed with anguish, rushes to the hospital with tears streaming down her face. Once again, she must gather the strength to face the fear of losing the man she loves. For an entire month, Ji-hyuk remains unconscious, showing no clear signs of recovery. Even so, Darim stays by his side every single day, caring for him, talking to him, believing, as if he could hear her at any moment. When we think this suffering should be enough, the drama delivers yet another cruel blow. Ji-hyuk wakes up, but with his memory completely erased. He doesn't remember Darim or the life they shared. Even when taken back to the places where everything began, like Jeju, he refuses to accept that she was the great love of his life. In a heartbreaking moment, Darim is forced to hear that everything is over and that they should each go their separate ways. A deeply disappointing and devastating scene, not only for her, but for us as well, the viewers who witnessed that unforgettable kiss in Jeju. 1 year passes. Darim and her mother manage to recover their old home with the help of Ji-hyuk's mother, who not only returns the house to them, but also offers Darim a new professional opportunity. Now, Darim gains full creative control over her company, while we watch her children's products start up, grow, and thrive. At the same time, we follow the story of Ki-yong, perhaps the purest heart in the entire drama. A young woman who remained uncorrupted despite being surrounded by power struggles, and who had to endure Sun-woo's indecision until the very end. Gradually, we understand why he was never able to win Darim's love and why he was abandoned. Sun-woo reveals himself to be a coward, incapable of truly loving, someone who only recognizes his feelings after the people around him are already wounded, wounds that, no matter how hard he tries to heal, will never fully close. Sadly, Ki-yong, still clinging to the hope of being loved by a coward like him, ends up presenting herself as the girlfriend of someone who will never be worthy of her. The reunion between Darim and Ji-hyuk is simple, quiet, and deeply emotional. Just exchanged glances, filled with something that memory itself could not erase. And in that moment, Dynamite Kiss reinforces its central message. True love does not live only in memory, but in the heart. The kiss, the one that gives the drama its name, becomes the bridge between past and present. The memories return not as a miracle, but as the natural result of feelings that never truly disappeared. Ji-hyuk finally remembers who he is, everything he lived through, and, above all, who he loves. A controversial ending, one that wasn't exactly what fans expected, but one that, in a mature and realistic way, allowed the writers to address heavy themes lightly in the final chapter of this fantastic drama. Darim and Ji-hyuk choose to stay together, now without secrets, power games, or outside interference. Dynamite Kiss closes its story by showing the beautiful family built by Ji-hyuk and Darim, the result of a love they nurtured over time, with the entire cast celebrating the success of this beautiful story told over 14 episodes. A true gift for all of us who love K-dramas. And if you enjoyed this drama, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our K-drama content. Finally, thank you to each and every one of you who makes this channel a place where we can share our passion for K-dramas. See you next time.